Hi, and welcome. You're listening to the X22 Report. My name is Dave, and this is episode 1827B, and today's date is March 28th, 2019, and the title of the episode is Marker 1, Marker 2 Set, CLAS 1 through 99, Patriots on the offensive. Now, before I get started, I wanted to talk about staying healthy as we grow older. Stem cells are your body's natural healing system. You get a cut on your finger one day and the next day it heals up. Well, how does that happen? Easy. It's your bodily stem cells at work. Sad part is by age 65, you've lost 90% of your adult stem cells. But now you may be able to boost stem cells levels naturally within 1 hour by 30% with a new plant-based capsule. Everyone's chemistry is different, but for many, this produces a variety of benefits to help reduce the effects of aging. This product comes with a 30-day money-back guarantee. Please visit their website at stemup.com. Let's get into the economic collapse, political, and geopolitical news. Now, as you can see, since the Mueller report was released, and this was just the summary that was signed off by Barr and Rod Rosenstein, we're going to see the other part of the report, which is the full report, coming out very soon. But since Mueller has finished his investigation, you can see the Patriots, they're going full force into these investigations, and they are calling out each and every one of these individuals that had to do with the spying on Trump, that had to do with the email scandal that Clinton had. You name it, they're going after them. The leakers, the people that were pushing Russian collusion. And now they're asking for evidence. You continually say this, but you must produce something now if you're going to say this. Because right now, the House, the Senate, the Mueller report all said there was no Russian collusion. And now you're starting to look like a fool. Because you continually say there is evidence, but nobody has produced any. So the deep state, they are in a deep panic right now. Because the walls, they are closing in around these individuals. Now, U.S. Senator Rand Paul, he posted a text today that has caught attention. The issue surrounds the Clinton Steele dossier and the intelligence community assessment from January 2017. This is what he tweeted out. Breaking. A high-level source tells me it was Brennan who insisted that the unverified and faked Steele dossier be included in the intelligence report. Brennan should be asked to testify under oath in Congress ASAP. Actually, all these individuals should be testifying under oath about what they talked about and what they did back then. Let's catch these individuals in lies. We know they lied. They lied before. And look what Mueller has done. He's arrested or charged individuals for lying, and that is a crime. Now this can be used on all these individuals. Now, Trump has been talking about a major caravan coming up to the United States. There is one forming in Honduras, and they're calling it the mother of all migrants caravans. And they're saying it's going to reach around 20,000 people. So again, building the wall is not a national emergency. The borders are not a national emergency. Of course they are. And we can see that the Patriots, they are now free to do whatever needs to be done to go after all these actors. And they're not wasting any time. Now, we know the deep state, they're going to try to stop Trump and the Patriots. And what's very interesting is that the West Virginia State Police, they closed Interstate 68 near Maryland border for several hours after a man made threats to kill the president and blow up the Pentagon. Now remember, these deep state actors, the intelligence organizations, they need some type of an event because they know soon, very soon, the D-Class, the OIG report, all of this is going to come out. And they just can't have it plastered all over the place. They need something to clog up the news cycles. And this might be one thing they tried to do. I mean, this was a 42-year-old man. He was arrested after he was pulled over for speeding at around 10:30 Wednesday morning. During the stop, the authorities found a firearm and explosive powder. And they were saying this individual was headed towards the Capitol. And it looks like he was going to do something. The FBI, the Secret Service, and State Police, they're investigating the plot right now. Remember, the deep state, they have the ability to control innocence. We've seen it before. And I believe they're going to try to push a major event to cover up everything that is coming out. Now, let's get into Q's post, but I want to go back to post 3195. This was the cspan.org video. This is with RBG. And Q told us, listen, go to minute marker, second marker, 19 minutes, 56 seconds, and take a listen. And in this post, Q says, what is RBG's current state of health? ? Are pictures being avoided for a reason? ? Pics in and out of home, in and out of cars equals easy. Now, Q doesn't give us things unless there's something there. And this entire, and it's just an audio clip, there's no video. They just showed pictures of individuals. And this bothered me. So the other night I was listening to it and I said, you know what, I'm going to listen very slowly. I'm going to stop it at each section. I want to see what Q is talking about. And I believe I found something. Now, I use a program called Audacity. Those people that are into audio recordings and things like that, it's a free piece of software. It's open source, and it's actually very powerful. And I use Audacity, and I know how to, edit my voice and things like that. And when I was listening to RBG, something stood out. Now, this was at 21:25. This is 21 minutes, 25 seconds. And the other clip was 22 minutes and 38 seconds. Now, when I listened to this, I said, okay, something is wrong, because in minute 21 and 25 seconds, Kagan was speaking. RBG interrupted. Now, you probably heard this before. We played it before, but let me just play this clip.
A sensitive inquiry.
Ms. Johnson, your strongest case is...
Now, it sounds normal, right? Kagan was talking, asking for Miss Johnson, saying, Miss Johnson some time ago, and RBG just interrupted. Now take a listen to the second clip. This is 22:38, where Kagan says the same exact thing.
Ms. Johnson, some time ago, Justice Alito asked you about the prosecutors and...
So in this clip, we have Kagan saying, Miss Johnson some time ago. Now, what I did was I tried to remove RBG's voice as best I could in the first clip. Take a listen to this clip with most of her voice completely gone.
Ms. Johnson, your strongest case is juror.
Now, did you hear that? When Kagan said Miss Johnson, it said Miss Johnson some, and it was just cut off. I mean, people don't speak like that. That's actually an edit. I've done it to myself many times before. So I said, you know something? Let me try to reproduce this. And I used the Audacity, and I reproduced it, and it sounds exactly the same. Basically, what happened is someone edited RBG's voice into this. This is what I believe. Listen to the piece that I edited, and it sounds exactly the same.
Ms. Johnson.
So I believe Q was giving us this C-SPAN video, or audio, to show us that someone did something to the audio and she might not have been there, because you can add the echo. You can make it seem like, this individual's in the auditorium. It's very easy to do with the software that's out there today. And this might be why Q was giving us this area and telling us to look at 19 minutes, 56 seconds. So once again, the question is, where is RBG? Let's move on to post 3221. And Annan gave us a picture. We, the Peppy, and this is Peppy the Frog, dressed up in Revolutionary Army fatigue. And it says, wish me luck, fags. This Annan has an interview with an intelligence agency tomorrow. Very nervous. Q says, good luck, Patriot. Autists should consider joining ABC's military intel programs if interested. Ability to decipher complex info strings is a valued asset. Q, post 3222. Annan said, Q digging on MAGA coalition shows obvious fraud. Also, those associated are nonstop attacking and obviously coordinated. Why would a PAC attack us? This in itself shows it's fake. This PAC also engaged no shills frauds. Do we still dig? Many reported to the IRS. So, down below, Q says some organizations do not have good intentions. Due diligence required. We highlighted this particular organization as one example. MAGAcoalition.com. And Q gave us OpenSecrets.org, shows that this organization, MAGA Coalition, Inc., total receipts, $288,658. Total expenses, $262,277. Cash on hand, $28,038. Then gave us two other links, docquery.fec.gov and docquery.fec.gov, and both of them show different accountings of this PAC. So Q says, follow the money, track donations versus expenses, admin, fundraising, strategy and research, etc., expenses highly inflated. Monthly installment payments made to names who can attract more donations. The wheel. How much donated money was actually spent promoting MAGA, pro-MAGA candidates indirectly versus internal costs or wheel costs. Gave us a link to IRS. How do you report suspected tax fraud activity? When you offer better goods and services for free, there is no longer a need to donate, purchase, and or follow those who would use such platforms to enrich themselves. Hence the attacks. Logical thinking always wins. Attempts to divide the movement draws light to their true intentions. This is about the survival of our nation, our world, not funding scams. End of topic. Keep your eye on the ball. Now, Q wants us to look at MAGA Coalition so we understand how the money flows. And if you look at MAGA, they waste a lot of money on expenses and fees. Where does this money really go? And Q really doesn't want us to spend that much more time on this. Post 3223, and Annan posted a pic of an older individual and a younger individual. Now, the older individual is Adam Schiff. And there's a picture, and this was taken in 1986. It was a 25-year-old Adam Schiff together with Dave McMillan. Then you can see Dave McMillan and Adam Schiff many years later, where they're together once again. And Q says, watch Hannity tonight. POTUS may have a few words on the subject. Q. Now remember, Q posted this on March 27th. Today is March 28th. So Hannity already had his show. We'll get into that in just a minute. Post 3224. Q gives us a Breitbart link. It says Devin Nunes sending criminal referral to Department of Justice over Spygate. Time to go on offensive. Let me read a little bit of this. House Intelligence Committee ranking member Devin Nunes is planning to send a criminal referral next week to the Justice Department that will detail multiple referrals on a number of different crimes, including leaking classified information as part of his investigation into misconduct at the Justice Department and the FBI. As of now, it'll be one criminal referral, but with multiple referrals on a number of different crimes. He told Breitbart News on Wednesday in an exclusive interview, "We will have some leakers in there for sure." Nunes said the question of whether his Democrat colleague, Representative Adam Schiff, should resign as chairman of the House Intelligence Committee should be directed to Democrat leadership. Q says maximum transparency. Panic in D.C. Q. Remember, they really don't want transparency. They hate transparency. Post 3225. Q says Department of Justice coordination with UK RED class of FISA think plane tracking. Now on WikiLeaks tweeted out something very interesting. This is what it said. A rarely seen U.S. Department of Justice jet N996GA flew to London on Tuesday and has not been recorded as leaving. Let me continue. Here's another tweet. These both are from March 21st. What is U.S. Department of Justice jet N996GA doing in London? The jet arrived on Tuesday from D.C. and was last noted rendering alleged Russia hacker Nikolun to the U.S. last year from Czech Republic, causing a diplomatic incident with Russia. So, once again, there's a plane that is now in London. Why? Who is getting on the plane? Well, Q answers this in later posts. Let's move on to post 3226. This is a redrop. So Q gave us a previous post. This is from March 14, 2019. Remember this important fact. Adam Schiff is part of the Gang of 8 intel. It will become critical, and once Gang of 8 material is declassified, logical Q, if Adam Schiff knew everything he's investigating and stating publicly to be knowingly false disinformation, why then would he take the course of actions ongoing? Did Adam Schiff purposely deceive the American public, thinking the Gang of 8 material and other classified documentation would never reach the public domain? What insurance did they hang over POTUS head in October to prevent inaction? A father's love for his children knows no bounds. He knows the information's fake. They thought they had these indictments against Trump's children. So is he deceiving the public? Yeah, he is. And he knows it. He's knowingly, remember that word first of all, knowingly deceiving the public. Post 3227 gave us a Twitter link to Savadangle61. Comey, when Trump fired me, I thought that's potential obstruction of justice. Q says he thought that was part of the plan, endgame. Hence why Rod Rosenstein drafted the recommendation letter to fire. So that was part of their plan. Let me continue. This is Twitter. This is Comey. So many questions, he says. And within this tweet, there's a picture of Comey in a forest, looking up. So remember the old saying, can't see the forest for the trees, an expression used of someone who is too involved in the details of a problem to look at the situation as a whole. Example, the congressman became so involved in the wording of his bill that he couldn't see the forest for the trees. He didn't realize that the bill could never pass. Q says, who has full control? The Patriots. These people are stupid. Indictments coming, which means sealed indictments will be unsealed. So think about this for a second. Think about why Comey doesn't understand what is happening. Trump nominates Sessions. Trump nominates Rod Rosenstein. Sessions recuses himself because of Russia. Rod Rosenstein is now in charge. They have the plan. Comey and the gang think they're in control. Sessions starts an investigation with Huber and others behind the scenes. He starts draining the swamp. Comey leaks the notes to the New York Times. Trump then fires Comey. Mueller is appointed as the special counsel. Then Sessions resigns. Whitaker takes over as a temp. Sets everything in motion, takes control away from Rod Rosenstein. Barr then is nominated. Barr confirmed by Senate. Mueller was then forced to release the report, and it shows no collusion or obstruction. Barr and Rod Rosenstein sign off on it. Comey didn't see any of this coming. He's confused. How did this happen? They had a plan. Well, actually, it wasn't their plan. It was the Patriots' plan. They made you think you had a plan. Let's move on to post 3228. And Annan posts a pic of the flag, replying to Q's previous post, who has full control? The Patriots. Let's move on to post 3229. So Annan posted the tweet from WikiLeaks. A rarely seen U.S. Department of Justice jet N996GA flew to London. And this was March 21st, 2019. Also included the post 3225. Department of Justice coordinated with UK D-Class of FISA, think plane tracking. So the Annan says, so is the Department of Justice plane in the UK picking up another passenger besides the CP King? Christopher Steele is key to the dossier and basis for the FISA and would probably have an indictment. Is he getting shipped over here to the U.S.? Are we going to be seeing him in front of the Senate? UK is helping to declass FISA? Q says, reference correct. Details, brackets, all bold caps, class 1 through 99 Q. So Q is confirming that Christopher Steele is being brought back here to the United States to most likely stand trial. So let's look at class 1 through 99. I want to go back to post 570. Now, Q mentions class here many times throughout the post. One of them is class 123, Blind Eye Iran Fund and Supply, Blind Eye class 23 through 41, Stage SC Adam Schiff 187. Then also says class 1 through 99, Hillary Clinton, number 8, World War III, Death and Weapons Real, War Fake and Controlled. And down below it says destruction of opposing mainstream media, other news outlets, censoring, class 1 through 59. So what this tells me is that there's many classified pieces of information that have to deal with many different things. One with Hillary Clinton, the other one with the mainstream media, the other one with Iran, and it goes on and on and on. So I think there's 1 through 99 of these classified items that are going to be brought to light very, very soon. If we go to post 2776, remember this is Barr to Mueller. Let me just read some portions of this. Bob, show me the evidence and reasoning for why this investigation was started and still ongoing. Mueller to Barr, with regards to the president, we have found no links or ties to any foreign entity, etc. Barr to Mueller, mandate was clear, verify and investigate reports of possible foreign collusion between president and Russia. What justification existed to effectively launch a massive domestic foreign surveillance campaign against the president and members of his transition campaign team? Mueller to Barr, Steele dossier, along with media corroboration of these findings. Barr to Mueller, was the Steele report a trusted and verified report? Intel to continue, especially considering the funding party was the opposition party? Mueller to Barr, those facts were never taken into consideration. Fisk granted authority to conduct based on conclusions presented. Barr to Mueller, was Fisk made aware of all details surrounding the dossier? Mueller to Barr, no. We believe there was an urgency placed on the authority given the gravity and timeline of events and that those involved negated to populate fully. Barr to Mueller, why were efforts made to continue investigating the president, interrupt his official capacity in governing, if the only doc presented was unsubstantiated and unverified? Why were questions and threat of subpoena communicating to the president if no factual foundation existed? All charges thus far are unrelated to the original mandate. Why are you still active in pursuing a crime if no verifiable evidence or evidence through discovery exists? Barr to Rod Rosenstein, what justification did you have to effectively expand the mandate, not report that expansion to Congress, in order to seek a crime outside of Russian collusion? And guess what? There's no answer for this. Below this it says class 1 through 99. A lot of this stuff is part of this classified information. The other part of the classified information is put from post 3050, which has to do with Epstein's Island, sex trafficking. It says number 1, sex resort. Number 2, occult worship, class 1 through 99. So I believe throughout all these posts, Q is telling us that these are included. Post 3230, Q gives us a proof, and it was watch number 1, watch number 2, 315, 342, and this was back on March 15th when the national emergency occurred on March 15th at 3:42 p.m. Barr authorized the national emergency. And down below it says, how did Q know? Q says, shall we play another Q proof? So in post 3231, and Annan says, ready, sir. Q gives a watch, the same exact watch as before. The date is the 19th. The time is 4:49. The second hand is on the 30. It says marker 1, set, Q. Post 3232 gives us the same picture of a watch and gives us a new watch. This is 3:05. The date, March 27th. 30 seconds is the second hand's on the 30-second mark. This says mark 2, set, Q. Now it seems that something big is going to happen with these times or dates. Both the second hands are on the 30-second mark. There are reflections in both of these watches. So if we go into post 3233, Q says reflections are important. Moving on to post 3234. And gives us everything from 3233 and says find the reflection inside the castle. Now the castle is the White House, which means this watch is inside the White House. Post 3235. And Annan says 07. Well, 07 is a salute. The 0 is the head. The 7 is the arm and hand. And the Annan continued and said, and Hannity in 10? Q confirms yes. Post 3236. Q gives us a picture of Q with the Punisher. Gives us a link to Fox News. It says Trump vows to release FISA docs now that Mueller probe is concluded. Slams treasonous FBI. Trump, in an exclusive wide-ranging interview Wednesday night with Fox on Hannity, vowed to release the full and unredacted Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act warrants and related documents used by the FBI to probe his campaign, saying he wants to get to the bottom of how the long-running Russia collusion narrative began. He said, I do. I have plans to declassify and release. I have plans to absolutely release, he said. I have some very talented people working for me, lawyers, and they really didn't want me to do it early on. A lot of people wanted me to do it a long time ago, and I'm glad I didn't do it. We got a great result without having to do it, but we will. One of the reasons that my lawyers didn't want me to do it is they said, if I do it, they'll call it a form of obstruction. Trump added, frankly, thought it would be better if we held it to the end, but at the right time. We will be absolutely releasing. Trump also accused FBI officials of committing treason, slamming former FBI Director James Comey as a terrible guy, former CIA Director John Brennan as a potentially mentally ill, and Democrat House Intelligence Committee Chairman Adam Schiff as a criminal. Q said, did you enjoy the interview? Q, absolutely. So it looks like it didn't take that long right now because we can see that there are certain individuals like Representative Mike Conway. They are calling for Adam Schiff's resignation from the House Intelligence Committee. Melissa Strategic tweeted out, Representative Mike at Conway TX11 to chair at Representative Adam Schiff. We have no faith in your ability to discharge your duties in a manner consistent with your constitutional responsibilities and urge your immediate resignation as chairman of the committee. So Adam Schiff right now, he is furious that the GOP is calling for his resignation in this hearing. And we'll have to see how this all plays out. Post 3237. Q gives us a Fox News link. It says Smollett damage control seen in internal email from Fox's office as she defends alternative prosecution model. This is what it says. An internal email from the office of Cook County State's Attorney Kim Foxx, obtained by Fox News on Wednesday, asked Assistant State's Attorney to dig for any examples to bolster Fox's claim that she dropped the charges in Jussie Smollett case weren't as uncommon or shocking as they seemed. The email read in part, we are looking for examples of cases, felony preferable, where we, in exercising our discretion, have entered into verbal agreements with defense attorneys to dismiss charges against an offender if certain conditions were met. The email added, nobody is in trouble. We are just looking for further examples of how we, as prosecutors, use our discretion in a way that restores the victim. It was not clear who sent it and exactly when it was sent. Fox recused herself from the case last February, but defended her office offering Smollett an alternative prosecution mode in a series of interviews on Wednesday. Under this, it says, Feds, Department of Justice will prosecute. It shall be done. Q. Trump tweeted out the following. FBI and Department of Justice to review the outrageous Jussie Smollett case in Chicago. It is an embarrassment to our nation. Now, what's very interesting is Guy Benson tweeted out the following. Wow. Fox's office now admitting she didn't actually recuse herself from the Smollett case. Legally speaking, they just used that word for public consumption. And within this tweet, it says the following. The state's attorney did not formally recuse herself or the office based on any factual conflict of interest, her spokeswoman, Tandra R. Simonton, said Wednesday in an email response to my question. As a result, she did not have to seek the appointment of special prosecutor under state law. Instead, she put her first assistant, Joe Maggots, at front to take the beating that would come. Although we use the term recuse as it relates to State Attorney Fox's involvement in the matter, it was a colloquial use of the term rather in its legal sense. Unbelievable. Post 3238 shows a picture of looks like an overpass of a highway with a fence, and there's a banner that says Patriots are in control. Q. Down below it says Chicago needs another hero. Post 3239 gives us a Twitter link, and it says, this is me. In case I can't find you on Where We Go One, We Go All site. Thanks, Patriots. And this is a picture of Trump Tower, and there's a reflection in the glass of other buildings, and down below it says, trust the plan, Q. Post 3240, and Annan says, Q is everywhere. Q corrects the Annan and says, we are everywhere. And as you can see, the walls are closing in around the deep state. The Patriots are on the offensive. Boom. Listen, everyone, thanks a lot for listening. Be well, be safe, and especially be prepared. Thanks a lot.